Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we'll talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our national and political landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Sheeta. Today on the show, EFCC arrests, detains Emefiele after regaining freedom. And later on the show, PDP, Labour Party outraged over Tinubu's Supreme Court victory. In the course of the program, we'll take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments whose names are clear and are about the issues discussed. Now, while I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Toju. It's good to see you, BKO.
Good to see you. Good to do this with you again.
Right, former CBN Governor Emefiele is currently being detained and interrogated by the EFCC after he regained his freedom from the custody of the DSS. This is an interesting twist in the travail of Mr. Emefiele after he became unpopular with his monetary policies. BKO.
Yes, we didn't see this coming. We didn't see it coming at all, but I've been told that it was just a presidential directive, and um, the DSS had no choice but to release him to the EFCC so that they can continue their own investigation. These things happen. Sometimes the police will hand over a suspect to the DSS so that they can do um, some comprehensive investigations of their own. Sometimes it's the military that will hand over a suspect to the DSS. So it happens sometimes to on the issue of mandates. Sometimes, in order to be in line with the dictates of the law, this kind of handover happens. Um, as, as we know, there are some agencies, some of the security agencies mandated to carry out certain functions. And if in the course of investigating Emefiele, certain discoveries were made, and the authorities deemed the EFCC most appropriate as a law enforcing agency to undertake that particular investigation. This sort of handover will happen. Emefiele is still being investigated, and I want to believe that at any point, even the DSS may still be required to do some work along the line of its investigation. But what has happened is purely a presidential directive, and the DSS was asked to not just um, uh, release them to the sister agency. The DSS was also advised to release the EFCC, the former EFCC chairman as well. During the period of his detention in June, a lot of discoveries have been made along the line of the probe of the CBN itself, and his case brought the case brought against him, for which he is seeking what they call plea bargain, is still very much on. They are still talking, so no decision has been reached, nothing ruled out currently. As part of um, piling pressure on Emefiele, he was told to resign, and he resigned. Shortly, the CBN announced his official resignation shortly after. Emefiele was appointed CBN governor in substantive capacity. So a lot has happened since Emefiele was detained shortly after his suspension by the president, and I believe the probe in the probe of his time at the CBN, during which the CBN's finances were never audited for one day, is ongoing. Every Nigerian who has now suddenly realized that, contrary to the lies that we were fed, that we had $33 billion in the foreign reserve, only to discover that we do not even have up to $5 billion in our foreign reserve, is something that truly bothers many Nigerians, and a lot of them are not happy with the way Emefiele ran the CBN, distracting himself from the core mandate of the of the CBN, getting involved in both monetary and fiscal policies, whereas he should have limited himself to just one rather than the two. So the CBN has nothing to do with fiscal policies of government. But Emefiele got involved in that. Emefiele got involved in even agriculture, and the CBN became jack of all trades and master of none. And during this period, Nigeria lost so much money. We have to interrogate how we suddenly moved from a country with substantial money in its foreign reserve to less than 5 billion. If JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs had not alerted Nigerians, many Nigerians would still have been thinking that we actually had more than $30 million in our foreign reserves. It is testament to the inglorious era of Emefiele that such heresies happened within the CBN, and Nigeria is worse for it, because we are not, even if we wanted to defend our currency with with our stock of foreign exchange, we can't do that. We don't have that security of a considerable portion of dollars in our foreign reserve. We do not have that buffer anymore. We do not have that security anymore. So you can see that the foreign exchange market is not supplied sufficiently. It's not funded sufficiently by the CBN.
That's right.
In the past, the CBN used to push about $1.5 billion into the foreign exchange market for trading. Today, we struggle to even push $200 million into the foreign exchange market in a whole month. So that is what has worsened the liquidity crisis in the foreign exchange market. And you cannot blame Emefiele for pretending over a chaotic situation that allowed our foreign reserves to decline rapidly to less than $5 billion. And Nigerians were not told that we were actually owing some companies like Goldman Sachs, like JP Morgan. They didn't include it among the debt stock of our country.